A late night in Washington, the historic vote on who will be the Speaker of the House. And looking for an early spot, Iowa Democrats make their case to be in the early voting lineup in the presidential nominating process.
Some of us are waking up to patchy fog this morning. I'll let you know what to expect for the rest of your weekend coming up.
KCCI 8 News starts right now with breaking news.
Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 216.
A historic moment on Capitol Hill. 4 days and 15 historic rounds of voting later, the House of Representatives has finally elected a speaker. The news broke shortly after midnight. 216 Republicans voted for California's Kevin McCarthy and 5 voted present. That was enough to change the threshold to give McCarthy the votes needed. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports on the historic late night voting in Washington.
It took 15 votes, but finally Kevin McCarthy got the support he needed from his fellow Republicans to become Speaker of the House.
It took a little longer than we thought, but if there's one thing I want the country to hopefully learn about me this week is that I will never give up.
The next Speaker of the 118th Congress, Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy claimed the Speaker's gavel after midnight, culminating 4 days of disarray and dissension in the chamber not seen since the Civil War. The infighting led to harsh words on the House floor during the 14th vote. McCarthy had to flip more than a dozen conservatives to give him the majority he needed.
And now the hard work begins. What we do here today, next week, next month, next year, will set the tone for everything that follows. So help you God. Congratulations.
Newly elected members of Congress were sworn in, but a debate and vote on a rules package was delayed until Monday. In a demonstration that there can be quick progress in Washington, this sign was hung early Saturday at the Capitol, recognizing the new Speaker. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Now the House adjourned until 5 p.m. Eastern Time Monday. Meanwhile, back here at home, Iowa Democrats have asked the National Democratic Party to reconsider its spot in the early voting lineup. The state party sent a letter to the DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee Friday morning asking for a spot in that early window. The letter says in part, quote, Iowa has been put in a position that makes it impossible to comply with our own state law, which has exactly no chance of being changed by our legislature. We have a compelling case to be granted a conditional waiver for a pre-window contest. Now, these 5 states here behind me highlighted in yellow were selected for early spots. They had until Thursday to prove they could hold an early primary on the assigned date, but New Hampshire and Georgia did not meet that deadline. Now, New Hampshire state law says they have to hold the first in the nation primary, a law their Republican-controlled legislature is unlikely to change. And Georgia's Republican Secretary of State would have to allow Georgia Democrats to go early, which he has not committed to doing. Iowa Democrats believe they're offering a solution to this chaos by asking the DNC to add them to the early lineup.
The DNC, said that they were getting more voices to, in fact, now they're down to just 3, and there's still no one from the central or mountain time zone. I mean, it's crazy. That's why the letter was submitted, because we offer a solution.
Iowa Democrats likely have to wait until next month for an answer. The Rules and Bylaws Committee will vote on the early lineup on February 3rd. So for the latest on the caucuses and other political updates, you can go to kcci.com or download our KCCI mobile app. All right, 5:04 on this Saturday morning. Here's a live look at our beautiful downtown Des Moines. Wells Fargo in the background there with the Women Achievement Bridge right front and center, looking nice this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Carpenter. Good to be with you on a Saturday. Good to be with Trey Fulbright again. Hey, Trey, good to see you. But we are starting off pretty cold this morning.
Yes, temperatures in the teens, even some single digits up north. Right now we're sitting at 15 here in Des Moines under partly cloudy skies. Good news is the winds aren't too strong, so the wind chill values are not that bad here this morning. Current temperatures across the rest of the state. If you're up to the north of Highway 20, below 10 degrees this morning for places like Iowa Falls up to Algona, even -1 in Mason City. You can see some more teens to near 20 down in the southern half of the state. Wind chill values, again, they're a little bit bit chillier up to the north, -11 in Algona, -13 in Mason City, still holding at around 15 here in Des Moines. Some of us are also seeing some patchy, dense fog as well, with fairly light winds in place this morning. That has led to the development of that, so watch out if you are traveling, especially in some of those rural outlying areas for that. Over the next couple of hours, temperatures work their way back up to around 20 by 10 a.m., 21 by 11, and that will lead us to a high of 34 today. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk about who has a chance for some clouds and even a little bit of light snow. We'll break down the rest of that forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Trey. Well, the former Iowa church pastor is accused of drugging and sexually abusing a child. Court documents show 68-year-old Mark Benson abused the girl several times at his home in Cambridge from 2009 to 2012. Now, the victim was between the ages of 10 and 13 at the time. She told police back in October Benson gave her medicine to make her sleep before sexually assaulting her. Benson is now charged with third-degree sexual abuse. And a former Des Moines area youth pastor is also accused of sexual abuse. Caleb Toney was charged last month with giving alcohol to minors. Court documents show it happened more than once and at more than one location. Toney is scheduled to be arraigned on January 19th. In Northwest Iowa, a puppy is on the road to recovery after being severely abused and abandoned. That's Rudy there. He was left outside the shelter days before Christmas as the temperature hit 20 degrees below zero. He suffered from a number of conditions, including multiple cuts, malnutrition, and his feet were inverted from being kept in a kennel that was too small. The Siouxland Humane Society says this is one of the worst cases of animal abuse they've ever seen. Look at him now. Looks healthy and happy. The tail is wagging. Rudy is being nursed back to health, and the Humane Society hopes to have him ready for adoption in a few months. Somebody will get a very loving pup. Well, encouraging news this morning from the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin continues to make a miraculous recovery after going into cardiac arrest during Monday night's football game. The 24-year-old safety had his breathing tube removed Friday. He also surprised the team with a video chat during a team meeting.
To see that boy's face, to see him smile, see him go like this in the camera, it was everything. So, and then to hear him talk to us, it was literally everything, and that's what we needed.
Really encouraging news. So many were hoping for the best here, and the Buffalo Bills are now paying tribute to Damar Hamlin by spray painting the number 3, Hamlin's number, on the field. The Bills will also be wearing a special number 3 patch on their jerseys for Sunday's game with the New England Patriots. So many hoping for a positive outcome, and we're seeing it right now. It's great work by the medical team as well. 5:08 now on this Saturday morning, Trey, and it's calm, but it's really cold.
That's right. If you are stepping out this morning, it's cold out there. Temperatures in the teens, some of us in the single digits, where we should be in January. Mostly clear skies across most of the state. Some of us are dealing with the patchy fog, especially in some of those low-lying areas this morning. But again, not too bad here considering it is early January. Some of us up to the north are in the single digits for places like Sioux Falls up to Minneapolis. 15 here in Des Moines, lower 30s down to the south. Skies are mostly clear right now. There's a weak disturbance that will pass to our south today that will bring an increase of clouds over our southern portions of the area, and temperatures will be back in the lower 30s. But there are warmer temperatures on the way. We'll talk about when coming up in your Storm Team 8 forecast.
Well, a Virginia teacher shot in the classroom. The shocking age of the suspect and why police say this was no accident.